Hello there. Books that change the world. Narcissus and Goldmund by Hermann Hesse. Have you ever felt torn between two lives? And one part of you wants certainty, structure and purpose. The other wants adventure, beauty and freedom. Well, maybe not, but one side wants a plan, the other wants to follow the moment wherever it leads. Well, that tension lies at the heart of Narcissus and Goldmund. It's one of the most thought-provoking novels written by Hermann Hesse, German author. It was published in 1930, and the novel explores one of the great questions of human existence. How should we live? I mean, he was a very important author during the 60s. Hesse is best known for his work such as Siddhartha and Steppenwolf, and his writing often explores identity, spirituality, and the search for meaning. And like much of his work, Narcissus and Goldmund is less concerned with what happens and more concerned with what it means. So, the story begins in a medieval monastery. Narcissus is a brilliant scholar, disciplined, thoughtful, and devoted to the life of the mind. Goldmund is a young student who arrives at the monastery intending to become a monk. But Narcissus recognises something in Goldmund that Goldmund cannot yet see himself. He realises that his friend is not called to a life of study and discipline, he's called to experience life. And Goldmund leaves the monastery and spends years wandering. He falls in love, creates art, experiences joy, heartbreak, poverty and loss. He witnesses beauty and tragedy in equal measure. And years later, the two friends meet again, each having travelled a very different path. And I can relate to this in many respects, because I think very often ministers can just simply end up just in one particular role and not really experiencing life. And the novel asks whether wisdom comes from thinking deeply about life or from fully experiencing. I mean, I think practically both are true. Anyway, there's three key themes here. There are different ways to seek truth, and Narcissus seeks truth through study, reflection and reason. And Goldmund seeks truth through experience, relationships and creativity. And the novel reminds us that people are wired differently. Some learn through books, others learn through people, and some think their way through life, and others feel their way through life. And the challenge is not to become someone else, but to discover who you were created to be. The second theme is life is both beautiful and fragile. And Goldmund encounters love, art, friendship and wonder. He also encounters death, plague and suffering. And Hesse refused to give us a sentimental view of life. And that bodes well, I think, for this particular novel, because beauty and pain certainly walk side by side. Let's be honest about it. And one of the reasons the novel is so wonderful is because life is temporary and therefore it is precious. And the fleeting nature of our days should make us cherish all that's in front of us. The third theme is that we need both head and heart. And at first the two friends seem like opposites. And Narcissus represents intellect and Goldmund represents emotion and creativity. And I must admit, of the two characters, I think Hesse paints Goldmund with a lot more sort of humanity, and I think that people are a mixture. But by the end of the story, realise that neither is complete on his own. A life of pure thinking can become detached. A life of pure feeling can become directionless. That's why I say I think a mixture of the two is much more realistic. And the wisest life brings together truth and beauty, reason and imagination, discipline and freedom. And I think, thinking of the book, I'm reminded of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7, which says this: the beginning of wisdom is this, get wisdom that costs all you have, get understanding. Because the Bible presents wisdom not merely as knowledge, but as learning how to live well. And it encourages the engagement of both the mind and the heart. So the challenge, I think, for each one of us is to have those two sides, the left and the right side of our brains working together, the emotions and the logic. And to ask ourselves, am I neglecting one side of who I am at the expense of the other? Do I need more reflection and discipline? Or do I need more creativity, adventure and wonder? Because growth often happens when we develop a part of ourselves we've most ignored. So for me, I read it, I think I was when I was a teenager, and it's a very formative book, and I read it I think 2 or 3 times. So let's just pray. Lord, help us to live wisely, give us minds that seek truth and hearts that appreciate beauty. Help us discover the unique calling you've placed upon our lives and give us the courage to follow it faithfully. Amen. So, thought to take away with you is this. Narcissus and Goldmund reminds us that a full life is not found by choosing between head and heart, but by learning how to let both serve wisdom. Hope you enjoyed this. If you like it, please feel free to share it with other people or subscribe and do all the other bits and pieces. And have a great day.